So very good morning to our viewership, both in and out of the country. Today being Thursday, the 25th of July 2019. Welcome to another edition of the Star Good Morning Show here on Star Television. We're broadcasting live from our Media One Center, 3 Mama Street, Brookfield in Freetown. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamal. Top stories in the program. The Minister of Information and Communication, in partnership with NATCOM, concludes a two-day digital transformation conference at the Golden Tulip Hotel in Freetown. The Joint Medical Unit at the 34 Military Hospital, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, is conducting a three-day medical simulation exercise on the Ebola virus disease, starting today, Thursday, July 25th, ending on Saturday, 27th of July at the Hasten Peace Mission Training Center. And the Chief Executive Officer, Sea Coach Express Service, Olusegun Jaji, has said his vision is to improve on the water transportation sector in the country. He made a statement while celebrating the company's 10-year anniversary of doing business in Sierra Leone. My guest in the studio is the CEO of the Boston Business Concern, Henry Lightfoot Boston. He's here to talk to me on how to engage people to develop their talents through creative writing, delivering with or without a script on hand. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar.
Most, it's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah.
Great.
The pleasure is mine to extend it.
Great. Remember, you can be part of this program by sending us messages on the number 077 600 324. The Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rocket Commercial Bank.
SIM Couple allow old and young to make deposit and withdraw cash from their account at any time and anywhere. With Rokel Commercial Bank SIM Couple, you can send and receive money at any place and any time. Rokel Commercial Bank don't make life better for we all.
You most welcome back from that commercial break. We'll move along with the program. The Ministry of Information and Communication, in partnership with NATCOM, concludes a two-day digital transformation conference at the Golden Tulip Hotel in Freetown. Here is a highlight of this report.
The Ministry of Information and Communications, in collaboration with various stakeholders, have developed a draft national digital transformation roadmap for the year 2019 to 2029 that is aimed at promoting digital innovation and transformation in Sierra Leone. Delivering a statement on behalf of President Julius Maada Bio, Professor David Francis said globally the digital economy is now an everyday activity, especially in the developed and emerging economies, where the economy is now largely based on conducting business transactions through the internet.
The digital economy as an aspect of the digital transformation roadmap that we want to build here. Why is that so? Globally, the digital economy is now an everyday activity, especially in the developed economies and the emerging economies. We all know that. Where the economy is now largely based on and conduct business and market transactions through the internet and World Wide Web. This is a fact of life in these developed and emerging economies. So in these developed and emerging economies, the digital economy is now a normal way of doing business. Conducting market operations and transactions, doing daily shoppings, and paying for goods and services. Especially in the Western economies where we have an aging population. Some of the elderly who cannot go any longer to shopping malls to shop. They use the internet. They shop for their groceries and their daily needs, and they deliver them at home. They deliver all their shopping to them. This is just the normal way of the transformation of their own digital economies and the impact it is having on the normal lives of the people. Across Africa, the fast-paced and rapidly developing digital economy is making significant impact on economic growth and development of the continent.
In his statement, the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Radosware, noted that the 2015 National Population Census findings indicated that 3.2 million Sierra Leoneans aged between 6 to 24 years are positive about 46% of the total population.
can take from it, because if you don't have a roadmap, all your interventions in digitalization, ICT and telecoms will be silo efforts. Government will lose millions and millions of dollars, because this ministry will set up, we have brought a new computer hardware, we're doing it, right? Everybody will do that, and the real benefits will elude the state, it will elude government, so we don't want to continue. So this meeting is an indication that a sleeping giant is awoken. The Ministry of Information and Communications is now aligned more than ever before to her responsibility to play a key leading role to provide the much needed leadership for the ICT telecoms transformation so that Sierra Leone can enjoy the digital dividend.
According to the document, the vision of the ministry within the context of the National Development Plan is that by 2029, Sierra Leone will become a digital inclusive society with digital technology as the means to unleash the innate potentials of every citizen to leapfrog the country's socio-economic development. For Star TV News, Yessi Hallowell reporting.
Thanks so much for that comprehensive report. The Sierra Leone Bar Association, in a press statement, has condemned the attack on the residence of one of the judges, Justice Biobele George Will. With me now in the studio is a member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, lawyer Israel Jah. He's here to talk to me on the position of the bar on what they describe as pretty much unfortunate situation. Lawyer Israel Jah, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Before I come to Henry Lightwood Boston, we've seen where the Sierra Leone Bar Association, as part of its proactive stance, issued out a press statement condemning as unfortunate the attack on the residence of one of the judges of the Commission of Inquiry. We'd like to further expand as to how you guys were informed to actually come to the decision to condemn that particular act.
Now, in the morning hours, I think it was Monday, 22nd day of July, news broke that one of the judges of the Commissions of Inquiry, Justice Biobele George Will's house was burgled into by some unknown persons. And among other things that were carted away, prominent was his laptop, which we believe and we are informed and verily believe that he had some judicial records and other stuff of his practice. So we were concerned that, one, the Justice Biobele George Will is one of the judges of the High Commission, of the Commission of Inquiry. Two, he's a foreign national. Three, he has a special mandate which the people of Sierra Leone have entrusted on him, by virtue of government asking him to come and help in the commissions of inquiry. Therefore, the Bar Association, as gatekeepers of the law, as concerned members of the legal profession to which this commissioner belong, even though he's part of a profession that is outside our jurisdiction. The profession, the legal profession, is recognized worldwide. So we believe that it is high time we associated with him, we empathize with him, and also to condemn this dastardly act that was perpetrated against him. All things being equal, this is somebody who ought to be protected, just like all the other commissioners. He should be protected. He's somebody who internationally has been recognized as doing a good job. So therefore, the Bar Association see this situation, or this attack, this theft into his house, as not only a bad image for the country, but it's also bad for the safety of the judge.
Granted that you guys have condemned this act by Justice Biobele George, perpetrated against him, but you went further to call for a very strong investigation, and it didn't stop on that. You are saying you have to monitor the process of investigation by the Sierra Leone Police, including the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces and Office of National Security. Why not give the leverage to the Sierra Leone Police to actually undertake their investigation independently?
Well, we have given them the leverage. All we want to do is we are calling on them to expedite the
But it is
the
indicated in the
investigation.
press release that you will want to monitor the process of investigation.
But of course, we want to keep an eye on what is ongoing, as what the investigation entails.
On what consideration?
On the consideration that this judge is very important. Secondly, he's a member of our profession, even though he belongs to a sister profession. As you are aware, we usually invite.
This could imply a lack of trust on the side of the police.
Well, no, not actually that we do not trust Australian police, but it bothers one's mind that one, the bodyguards and the security that were with the judge at his house and were members of the Australian police. Secondly, it also bothers our mind that with all this security presence provided by the state, yet someone was able to enter into the judge's house and take away his laptop. It shows some lack of care, lack of diligence, lack of competence to handle the job that was given to them. I listened on the radio, the ASP in charge of investigation at the CDIID of the Australian police was saying that two of the security guards that were assigned to the justice were absent from duty. That's very, very disturbing. How on earth a high-profile personnel like Justice Biobele George Will has security attached to his premises to bodyguard him? At the end of the day, when this judge is asleep or is going to take his rest, these security personnel attached by the Australian police are nowhere to be seen, or they went on a frolic of their own. How would you explain that? Therefore, we necessarily are saying that in as much as they are investigating their own or two of their own or the lapses that was visibly seen in the operations or security of the security of the security that were attached to the justice, we are concerned that by monitoring them, they will add some effort and the investigation will be effective and will have the desired results.
Again, suffices to say that until the police officers that were attached at the residence of the judge prefer reason as to why they were absent, then we'll come to the conclusion that they were frolicking their way out of the house.
Well, as far as I am
for
concerned,
better reason.
As far as the Bar Association is concerned, when you are assigned as in fact, it's against their disciplinary code of conduct. As a personnel, as a force, as a man in the force, when you are assigned to do a job or a duty, you must be on duty at all times.
Should they have a very valid reason not to present at that particular time?
Did they inform their superiors about it? Because if they had, there may have been replacements, but there was none, and they left the life and security of that judge at the mercy of the thieves or whosoever may have gone into his house.
I will assume they might have.
Peradventure, they might have harmed him.
I assume they might have informed the chain of command of the Australian police in a situation where they failed to actually have a replacement of them. What would be the circumstances in this?
For now, I cannot conjure answers to your questions, and it's very hypothetical though. Secondly, I am saying if they had informed their superior, obviously there would have been replacement, or they would have been replaced. But even by the information that I got from the head of investigation at the CIID, these security personnel left without informing any of their superior. I mean, they went on a frolic of their own. God knows where they are. And it has bad on the professionalism of the Sierra Leone police. And besides, there were other security personnel or people, security agents around the vicinity. So it also tells bad on us.
Again, granted that the investigation is ongoing, but on the question of what you guys refer to as circumstantial evidence, does it come to play in this?
Circumstantial evidence about what?
About the situation where perhaps they deliberately absent themselves and the act was perpetrated against the judge.
Well, I really
investigation is ongoing.
Exactly. I do not want to prejudice the investigation on
one. Granted, Israel Jah. Now let's take it from the particular to the general. This could not be only the question of Judge Biobele Will. It's about the other judges, resident judges in the country. How much are you clamoring for them to be given security in as much as they are holding a responsible position in the states, our judges in the country, I'm talking of them. How much do you know as a bar association that they have enough security to guard them?
In fact, this is the thrust. This is the real message behind our press release.
Okay.
Because we believe that judges, magistrates, and other people who dispense justice must be protected. You know, there are people who deal with very delicate matters between and among belligerent parties. So you would expect one way or the other, people who are dissatisfied either with their judgment or the way they are handling the matters gets offended and may want to harm them one way or the other. And particularly with these commissions of inquiry, we know the atmosphere is very tense. So therefore, we are calling on government, the persons concerned, that the security, safety of these judges. And mind you, the environment in which Judge Biobele was attacked, or where his residence is, also where we have the other judges of the commissions of inquiry. So obviously, when we are calling on the expeditious investigation of this issue at the residence of Justice Judge Will, we're also saying that behind that we need robust mechanisms to be put in place for the protection of these judges, not only the commission of inquiry judges as well as our domestic judges, because these are very important people in our society. These are very important people. I mean, when two parties are fighting, I mean, you need a third party, an independent arbiter who sits on the matter to see that things are done in the way that pleases the law or in the way that the law dictates. So therefore, it only behoves us as a government, as a responsible people, to protect these people at all costs. So that's why our press release is saying that we condemn the act. We may not know at the moment who could have done the act, but obviously it points to the fact that there were some lapses, especially with our security forces, and this is very bad for our reputation as a nation. It's very bad for our reputation as a people and the government as well.
The indication now is that a MACP, in my understanding, has been instituted, meaning that the military the police is coming in for the military to actually help them. And the indication that this could give out, the implication rather that this could give out, is that the Sierra Leone police, by all stretch of imagination, they are not on top of situation. You issue the press release before the commencement of the Sierra Leone Bar Association's election on the high-handedness of the Sierra Leone police. Could it be a situation where perhaps we've seen things to be done persistently, even when there is this call for professionalism within the Sierra Leone police, yet still they seem to be slighted down in most of their professional handlings of things? This could be the culmination of things now, aside from the high-handedness they used to unleash on innocent civilians. Now, see what's happened. The lack of proactiveness and all of these. As a bar association, are you intending to actually meet with the leadership of the Sierra Leone police to instill sense in them?
Well, I am not sure about instilling sense in them.
Or let them understand.
Yes, we would want to. Of course, one of our targets is to engage the leadership of the Sierra Leone police. Obviously, I mean, we need to engage with them. The Sierra Leone police, I believe, is a very professional force. In fact, it's a force for good, and obviously, over the years, the Bar Association has been bastardizing them, calling to attention their inadequacies, their incompetencies at times. But you would want to say that the police, by and large, have been doing a very good job. In some sections, they have been performing very badly. And these are people who have their daily interactions with members of the public. So obviously, you have one way or the other people saying good and bad comments about them. We have, over the years, called the excesses of the police into question. Of course, we condemn their high-handedness over the way they handle the demonstration. But mind you, there are other people in the police who may not generally be responsible for the lack of competence and unprofessional manner in which some of these officers behave or these constables behave. So, yes, as a responsible organization, we may want to, and we will, have a dialogue with the police leadership to bring to the fore these things that are affecting members as well as their professional credibility and image. So of course we will not wholesomely castigate the police for some action or for actions of some members of the police force. Obviously, as we heard from, they have been investigated by the CDIID. It means that obviously their superior were not informed. So you cannot lay the blame squarely on the entire police force.
It's a two-pronged approach. The investigation by the CDIID is an internal investigation.
Yes.
While you have the outfit of the other investigation carried out.
Yes.
Right? Just like the military, for instance, you have what they call a service test. For whatever thing you do as a military officer, they have to put you on questioning why in the first place you have to come to light as a result of such circumstances. So the CDIID investigation is an internal investigation, while the other investigation is going out.
I raised that particularly because I am saying that had perhaps the management of the police force been aware of the conduct of those police officers, they may not have been investigated. So bringing them under investigation shows that, of course, the police leadership is not pleased with the attitude. Of course, nobody will be pleased with such lackadaisical discharge of function. So, of course, that's why I brought it out. And also, yes, I am made to understand, and I verily believe that I think they have been replaced with some military personnel to guard the...
No, it's not a replacement, but the military personnel are working in line with them. That's what they call the MACP. To actually help them in their operational activities.
Okay.
But I see that to be an overburden on the side of the military. I'm just an official spokesperson for the military.
Well, I cannot comment further than that until I have an official press statement from the...
No, it's clear. The MACP is on now. The MACP is on.
Okay.
Let me come over to Henry Lightwood Boston, the CEO for the Boston Business Concern. Is there to talk to me on how to encourage people to develop their talent through creative writing, delivering with or without a script on hand. First off, you're most welcome to the studio, Mr. Lightwood Boston.
Thank you once again.
Who am I talking to? Who is Henry Lightwood Boston?
Well, Henry Lightwood Boston is a product of the Prince of Wales School and the Albert Academy School, and studied in the Republic of Ghana. Academy of Business Administration. I've got a diploma in business administration. Came back home in 2001. Worked at the Sierra Leone Brewery for 3 years. Then went into university again. And that was Lixil. Where I got where I did the BBA course, that is bachelor's degree in business administration, major in human resource management, and then I started working at Comium. I worked at Comium for like 3 years, and then I was relieved of my duties as the time goes. Not termination now. I was discharged of my duties. I was discharged of my duties anyway, right? And the company folded up like that. And then I went into business. I had a photocopying shop at my residence at 2G Side Street, and then I did that for about 2 or 3 years. I left because I just realized that the equipments I was using were not actually viable for commercial purposes. So I closed it and I went into HR business. I was finding work for those who want work, but in the minor cater, that is to say messengers, cleaners, drivers, and the like. They used to come to me, I give them a form which they fill, and then they come with 2 passport size pictures and they pay a fee, and I try to locate them so in some employment.
So in all of this, Henry Lightwood Boston, what's the key objective that you're driving towards through self-empowerment?
Well, first and foremost, you have to create jobs for people who are in need of jobs and who also realize that through their jobs they can be empowered and also contribute their own quota to the development of the economy and therefore become reliable and sustainable as past and present governments have been preaching, reliability and sustainability and that kind of thing. And from a social point of view, there is dignity in labor. Everybody should work. You need to work for what you for what you eat, and not just rely on people to just be like those boys down the road there who just sit down and say, which you left for me now. That's not the proper way to live. So I believe everybody should work and earn something and a living so that you can contribute your quota, as I said, to society and also live a normal, standard life as any human being.
Now, you indicated to me earlier that over the years you've been encouraging people to develop their talents through creative writing, delivering with or without a script at hand. One of the key interventions is in the 2018 elections. You've written so many manifestos for people and also given them speech to deliver. How has that been able to earn them the competence in society?
Well, so far so good. Like I said, when I do speech writing for people, I also call them on board and teach them how to articulate, how to express those words that they're saying. So in just the expression of the terms that they've used, they'll bring about, well, one sound effect, voice effect, and also they'll send the message, not only by saying it, but by actually expressing it. People will actually get the message. And I believe that some of those people, if they actually did what I told them, their message has already gone out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay with me in the studio. He's Henry Lightwood Boston, Executive Officer for the Boston Business Concern. Quickly before I come to take another insert, the Bar Association being the legal conscience of society, where do you see the job of your association moving towards in terms of harnessing areas in good governance and economic good governance, political good governance in the states? I know you guys are not in authority, but you're in a position of influence.
Okay. You've already said we are the legal conscience of the nation. So obviously, we'll continue, as it has been the case, we'll continue to advocate for good governance. We'll continue to advocate for the protection and promotion of human rights. We'll continue to advocate for better laws. We'll continue to advocate that the rights, welfare of the citizenry are maintained and protected. So the Bar Association would always, as far as we are concerned as an executive, will always try to make sure that these goals are achieved. So we continue to call on government, other state parties or state actors to do the necessaries as and when the need arises. And so that's what the Bar Association has been engaging. And we've been playing very active role in the body politic of this nation. Some of them have been, some of our actions have been criticized. Some of our actions have been praised, highly commendable. But we'll never renege on our duties and our responsibilities to the people of Sierra Leone. We'll continue to hold the fort. We'll continue to call on the excesses, call out the excesses where they are. We'll continue to make sure that the rule of law is respected. We'll continue to make sure that the fundamental human rights are promoted and protected at all costs.
Okay. He's Israel Jah, a member of the Sierra Leone Bar Association. I guess I'm here the PRO?
Yes.
Great. The Joint Medical Units at the 34 Military Hospital, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, is conducting a 3-day medical simulation exercise on the Ebola virus disease. And the exercise, as I speak, is on course now at the Peace Mission Training Center. It's a 3-day starting today, the 25th July, ending at the 27th July 2019. Here is a highlight of that particular event. for make we get a clear insight as to what actually they happen. There with the commander, the Joint Medical Unit, where Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Stephen Sivali. Doctor, within the PMTCC, what really happened at this place today?
So welcome to PMTC, and what we do up to now for conduct a simulation exercise, what we call rapid deployable isolation and treatment facility. So this is now one of the assets then we the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces get. And of course, these assets they help we for me to mandate we now security of the people, but also health security. We don't hear a lot about Ebola. We know it's in the happen in Congo. We know say WHO don't declare the epidemic in Congo an international concern. And we say no, more we not just sit on so. As much as, well, now a good coincidence, I will say this particularly not in response to the situation in Congo. This now we routine, not to the first time this way we conduct this kind of exercise.
So in other words, there is no outbreak in the country?
No. There is no outbreak, absolutely. Okay. That's just preparation, just in case tomorrow there is a case reported, how we will respond. And with this, as you see, we can able to deploy any sign of the country. Because the idea behind this RDITF, or Rapid Deployable Isolation and Treatment Facility, now that if a case of Ebola or any bad epidemic happen at the country, outside it occur, we for able to go deploy it and contain the situation.
What should they look at tomorrow when this thing commences in terms of assessment?
We assess plenty things.
Including?
Plenty things. First of all, they assess how, for example, case go come, enter, okay, how we personnel then go respond to them cases, then they will then can reach the triage area. We assess the ability for more we able to triage the patients them and manage them, like case management. We assess the ability of staff, which we call flow challenge. How you will able to move through the center without you not get yourself infected, but at the same time you able to manage patients then well. We assess issues of collaboration, for example. How do you coordinate in the kind of environments there? With the look, we lab, how you be able to take sample, how we able to confirm case. Because once case come, not suspect case or probable case, depending on the history. But then you need for confirmer. Means you need for take blood sample. You need for do certain type of test where we confirm say well this person they get the disease or not get the disease. And the event where he gets the disease, we will move them to the area we call confirmed ward. So all them things then they will assess them. So
Doctor, let me look at coordination. This you personnel in the 34 military hospital solely undertake this exercise, or una get a blend of civilian experts?
Yeah, why I mention coordination and collaboration and probably communication. Now, because not to win no more, not to RSLAF no more. I remember the last activity, now just RSLAF we conduct simulation exercise, but this time we did one with Ministry of Health.
So the whole exercise will last for 3 days?
It lasts for 3 days. So it begin tomorrow when a Thursday, Friday, and it end on Saturday.
On the intended outcome of this whole exercise, what do you look forward to?
Many. There are several things. Okay. One, I feel say one we want assess with degree of readiness. And nine are the essence of a simulation or simulation like this. We assess with degree of readiness for response, but also identify weaknesses so that we can able to see who side we need extra resources for coming so that we will strengthen the weaknesses. The other thing is we want to expand with collaboration. If we collaborate with Ministry of Health, for example, we will only strengthen that we will begin conduct joint exercises. So I feel say it is strengthening with collaboration, with ability for coordinate among ourselves as interagencies collaborate.
And in that interview with me is Commanding Officer, the Joint Medical Unit 34 Military Hospital, Dr. Stephen Sivali. Let's look at some of the interventions by the Sierra Leone Bar Association, especially from the perspective of the legal profession. The expectation of the lay public is that you guys should have championed issues, especially when it comes to litigation congestion in courts, backlog of cases. How much are you paying much more credence to those issues? Speaking to the leadership to say, you know what, the backlog of cases has been for quite a while. There is need for an expedition of some of these cases. we've seen instances where there were, I don't know whether I have the right to call them slight offenses. Somebody will be incarcerated or remanded at Pademba Road Prison for no obvious reason, just been there with no file being presented to court and all the rest of it. What is the bar really doing towards that?
Thank you very much. That's a public interest question, and the Bar Association looks or takes public interest matters very seriously. And of course, we are all aware about the deplorable conditions in the correctional centers across the country. We're also aware about the backlog cases in the court. Of course, we are also aware, as the public is, about the congestion at these prison centers due to the fact that people are remanded for very minor offenses for which bail ought to be granted or for which they ought to be fined or some sort of other punishment meted out to them. The Bar Association intervention has been on many or multiple fronts. Firstly, we have, over the years, we have engaged the judiciary, and thank God for the current Chief Justice. He's been doing a fantastic job somehow. And as we speak, there is ongoing trial, expeditious trial, to ensure the backlog of criminal cases to rule out and to ensure that people get justice where and how it is needed. And of course, as you are aware, the Bar Association being made up or which comprises of lawyers, most of the lawyers are there. We have them as defense counsel, we also have them as prosecution counsel. So the Bar Association is a very important instrument in the administration and dispensation of justice. And also, of course, you are aware of the Legal Aid, the Legal Aid Board. The Legal Aid Board, even though it's a creation of government, but the Legal Aid Board is staffed by lawyers. The Bar Association has been playing a very crucial role. Of course, some lawyers are employed on full-time basis, others are offering pro bono services. And of course, as and when the need arises, the Bar Association intervenes and collaborates with the Legal Aid Board to ensure that we educate people on their rights, we promote and ask for certainty and other things for the better progress of the criminal justice system in the country. So the Bar Association has been helpful in that direction as well. So by and large, we have been very vociferous about the interests of accused persons, especially those on remand. We've also been very strong advocates for their interests. We also call upon the judiciary, and we're acting very strongly to ensure that backlog cases are dealt with. Of course, I think I had a discussion with the Chief Justice, and he was very appalled about the fact that there are many people in remand whose files are missing, and many people who have taken long on remand whose cases have not been called. It's very disheartening. It's worse than anything in this country. How could you, perhaps for a very minor offense for which you are not even declared guilty, you spent probably more than the required maximum sentence that is given for commission of such an offense if you are found guilty, or probably for just fabrication or some trump-up charge that was leveled against you. So these are the things that are happening, and the Bar Association has not been silent on these things. We keep on calling them out, and we also continue to urge the Chief Justice, members of the bench, including magistrates and judges, that they impose minimal sentences, not always custodial sentences. Mind you, these people who are in remand, at correctional centers depend on government to feed them. So you are adding more burden on government to take care of these prisoners. And now, why the Correctional Center Act was passed is to rehabilitate, reform offenders. So you cannot continue to send them there, even though we are not saying that people who commit crime should not be dealt with in the way that the law says they should. We are arguing on the fact that, yes, people should be punished, but correctional centers should be places with humane treatment, places where anything could happen. For example, they may just trump up a charge against you and be thrown out. If you go and find yourself in a very filthy, uninhabitable center and you come out at the end of the day very sick or infected with other infectious diseases, what would you do? So the Bar Association continues to engage the Office of the Chief Justice, continue to engage members of the bench, continue to engage prisons or other the correctional centers and government to ensure that things are done in the right way, to ensure that accused persons are given representation, which is done by the legal aid board, for which we are very grateful, and so on and so forth. And of course, the Bar Association, before the commencement of the legal aid board, have been providing pro bono services, have been collaborating with UN agencies, particularly UNDP, and for example, other organizations like OSIWA, to provide pro bono legal aid services for indigent Sierra Leoneans. So yes, by and large, the Bar Association have been helping to ensure that cases are expedited. We have been advocating in those directions.
I dare say, like your colleagues, especially so like the president of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, Kwa, the likes of Son Kita Conte, yourself, where you've sojourned your education not only here, outside of this country. What do you wish to see as a bar that perhaps you may jump over short hurdles for you to be a very, very formidable association?
I don't know which hurdles you are talking about.
It saddens many people, especially your position you took when, I recall the last administration, the opposition, when sitting members of parliament, we are a ruling that came out depriving them of their continuity in parliament and giving the opportunity for others. We saw the position of the Bar Association, but you're still, it's like it fell on deaf ears. So the question is, in as much as you guys are raising your voices high on these issues, yet you don't seem to see much being done in that regard. In the estimation of many people, it's like you guys are flogging a very dead horse.
The Bar Association is not a mouthpiece of the opposition.
It is not.
Not a mouthpiece for the government.
Mm-hmm.
We are a pressure group. Like I said, we always protect and promote or advocate for the promotion and protection of human rights. All right. The politician as well as the ordinary citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What the Bar Association does is to raise these issues up and then engage the government or whosoever may be concerned to ensure that these things are dealt with. So the Bar Association would want, like we have done, we have raised the issue.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is to dialogue with the government or whosoever concerned to bring these things to the fore and make sure that they are resolved amicably. So that platform is, that would be our next target. And we have our other methods of activism.
Mm-hmm.
We have many methods. We have litigation. As you are aware, the Bar Association has several cases in court amongst us and against other parties. You are aware of that. We also have the issue of demonstration. We can take up demonstration to advocate our interests, to make sure our voices are heard. So we have so many methods, so many other things to do to ensure that our voices are heard. You understand? But first of all, as a responsible organization, we must always exhaust diplomatic avenues to ensure that our voices are heard. When that fails, then we'll think about other routes to make our concerns addressed.
So what's the collective impression of the Bar Association generally on the legal system in the country? In terms of the challenges, the court sitting, the inadequate, how should I put it, the court sitting, because there are instances, I've often been talking with this, no less your colleague, Solomon Jamiro, when you go to court, you see the stenographers, they strenuously taking down notes, not having an up-to-date devices that maybe capture all of those statements being made by litigants. The question is it ripe for us as a nation to actually jump over those things? Why are we still stuck with those rudimentary techniques? You have a lawyer just strenuously taking down notes while the judge is talking, all of those things. Why are we not moving with the trend, with the current trend? All of those things account largely for us not to be taken serious as a nation.
Yes, to a very large extent, I agree with you. The judiciary and the legal profession as well has been plagued with those problems over the years, and successive administration or executive of the Bar Association have drawn attention to those things. Have drawn the attention of government to those things, but they seem to be going unnoticed largely, or government have kept silence on them. But yes, this current executive or administration will continue to advocate for that. And of course, I would always say this. When we have a very independent judiciary in a nation, that nation progresses. And one of the ways of making the judiciary very independent is to give them the resources it needs. But in our country, I think that's very amiss. I mean, it's nowhere to be seen. The judiciary continues to suffer under lack of resources. Judges continue to suffer as well. There are not enough tools. As you rightly said, we are in the 21st century where ITC is the order of the day. Well, now we still have judges taking down handwritten notes. I mean, we are talking about the age of stenographers. We don't have any. In those days, before now, 2-3 years ago, we have the fast track commercial court that was really equipped with modern equipment to handle a normal court sitting for expeditious trial. But those things are non-effective right now. So we continue to call on the judiciary, particularly the government, not the judiciary. Remember, the judiciary is the third arm of the government. So to me, I see this as a deliberate ploy on the part of either the politicians or government to under-resource and understaff the judiciary, so the judiciary will not project the power it has. Because of course, with the judiciary powerful as it ought to be, most of these things you are having in this country will not be happening. The bastardization of the constitution, the attitude towards the rule of law, and so on and so forth will not be happening. So I feel that it's high time Bar Association has been calling upon government to handle, to staff the judiciary, to make sure that there is enough resources to recruit and train more magistrates and judges. So therefore, for the issues of backlog cases will be a thing of the past. The issue of having enough remand prisoners with no court date attached to them with their files missing will become issues of the past. You will address and reduce to the barest minimum the issue of corruption and bribery. So these are things that actually needs to be addressed urgently. This is the urgency of the now, or the now. This is the moment the government needs to act to ensure that these things are addressed.
Okay, let me come over.
At least I forget.
Yes.
But when we had our AGM, the Chief Justice's representative laid out a very ambitious ITC project for the judiciary. Hopefully, if there is enough resources to fund that ambitious ITC project for the judiciary, definitely our judiciary will take another level. We will not be having this long delay of cases in court, prolonged trial processes.
I wonder how many judges are ICT inclined.
But yes, I mean, I
recall there was a project by UNDP to actually train judges on ICT. I think it was done at IPA.
Yes, all it requires is just enough resources to fund their training. I mean, nowadays, in the days of computer, smartphones, laptops, I mean, you just go behind your computer and start typing. They just have to teach you the nitty-gritties of the basics. That's all you need.
Okay.
That's all you need.
Henry, let me come over to you. We don't seem to be having much time left in the studio. How do you hope to reposition yourself within the job market to ensure you have a lot of attraction of clients, in as much as you're providing all of these services?
Thank you again. First and foremost, what I've just done is one form of advertisement. That is why, among other things, I thought of coming to the media stations. I'm with you now at the Star TV. I may go to other ones, and then tell people, showcase myself, showcase my talents, what I can do, and also to show that I want to help people develop themselves, especially in the art of speaking. We have to speak properly, speak properly, as I said, and also fluency, and all of that, you see, and in so doing, contribute my own quota to the development of this nation, because that is what has been advocated for many times in the past. So I believe by coming here as my first port of call, I've started the race, and since I'm on TV, a lot of people have seen me or are still seeing me here, and then they're seeing what I'm doing, and then I believe by the end of the day or towards the end of the week I'll be having calls to say, hey, I have a program so and so. I have to give a keynote address there. I have to give a presentation here. How can you help me? Then at the end I'll give you I'm sure I'm going to give my numbers here, my contacts, and then we take up from there.
Yeah.
You see, because just a minute, as the saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles commences with a single step. So it's like you just try to get out there, because that's my personal motto. Venture into the deep. That's my motto. Go out there, see what can be done, and how you can move yourself. It's not. I don't encourage myself to just sit down and there and say, oh, what can I do? I always try to do something. You see, and this is just one of the some things that I've done. You know.
Okay. He's Henry Lightfoot Boston. I guess you are the grandson of the Lightfoot Boston we know.
Yes, it's my paternal grandfather.
Okay. Lord Israel, quickly, I don't know whether it falls within the mandate of the association to actually raise advocacy on the reduction of the fees for the law school. Don't blame me to be raising all of these issues. I'm only curious to know.
Curiosity kills the cat. Yes, it's indeed.
Well, like you said, it's not the mandate of the Bar Association. But of course, Bar Association always will continue to advocate for quality legal education.
Okay.
We'll continue to advocate for quality, for the admission of quality people or fit and proper persons to be admitted to the bar. The Bar Association will continue to advocate for that. For the issue of the increase of fees, that's purely the prerogative of the General Legal Council, Council of Legal Education, and the law school. That's their right.
And you are lucky not to have been there when the increase was made, actually.
No, well, in my own time, about almost 10 years ago, we were complaining about the same amount of money. So I mean, you would expect that, but that's purely their purview. They have the right to do that. So I think if there's any plea, any other thing, the Chief Justice or the Chairman of the Council of Legal Education will have to intervene.
Again, perhaps you may choose to call it idle curiosity, but I'm not sure that is it. How do you reconcile the challenge of representing the Bar Association at the same time you've been the legal retainer for NACIT? Do you have time for yourself to actually make a personal representation of your clients in court? In between the three strands?
The Bar Association, well, I don't want to call it idle curiosity, but perhaps if you want to name them that way, okay.
No, on my part.
The Bar Association.
No, on my part, putting all of these things. You know.
The Bar Associations, our job in the Bar Association executive is not a full-time job.
Okay.
It's a sacrificial and selfless duty to the association we so hold dearly, and we so love. So we make sure that our duties to our clients or to whosoever we are representing do not conflict with that of the association's job. So we always put ourselves on plan or on timetable or have a diary to run things. So that's how we conduct ourselves.
On the final call to the police to move speedily with the investigation on the incidents with Justice Biobelly George Will, what could be a call on behalf of the association?
Of course, the association has stated very clearly, in no ambiguous term, that we call on the Sierra Leone Police, we call on the Office of National Security, and of course, including, well, the military, to speedily investigate this matter. And we've said we're going to continue to monitor the process to ensure, one, the safety of the judges of commissions of inquiry and also other judges, and to ensure that there will not be a repetition of this ugly incident.
Okay.
These are very important people. Their safety is paramount to our interest as a nation. So we are going to monitor events. We are going to engage the leadership of the Australian police to ensure that this thing is done.
Well, you craftily eluded the question of your job at NASIT as a legal retainer, but I will we'll skip that one. What could be your closing remark? Perhaps you may want the listening audience to actually know where your office is situated.
Okay, my office is situated at my residence. The office is my residence as well. At 2G Sykes Street, going down, approaching Ascension Town from the stadium, or turning from Ascension Town. It's on the left, 2G Sykes Street, at the start of Sykes Street coming up, or almost at the end going down. I'll be contacted Mondays to Fridays between the hours of 10 and 4.
Okay. Thank you so much. He is Henry Lightfoot Boston, the CEO of the Boston Business Concern, and also the PRO for the Civil Bar Association, lawyer Israel Jah. I must say it's wonderful having you both in the studio, and this is how I draw the curtain in today's edition of the program. Hopefully the final edition for the week comes tomorrow. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamara. Have a wonderful day.
Abdul,